Hi, welcome to Simply Scrapping. Narelle here, and today I'm doing a bit of a stash dive, stash bust, whatever you like to call it. But I was reminded recently about different items that I knew I had somewhere in my craft room, and it's acrylic. So it could be acrylic paint, acrylic items like these that I've got here, or acrylic shapes. I know close to my heart used to do a lot of acrylic shapes, but there's all sorts of acrylic items. I know there's a company in the UK, I can't think of their name, but they do really lovely acrylic titles and words and all sorts of elements. So it's becoming quite popular again. And I thought I had some acrylic shapes somewhere from way back. So I'm talking now early 2000s. So I found them, and they are these acrylic letters, and this is what I have left. So I have three little words here: miracle, adorable, and dream. And I think I bought them as part of a baby range, and I can't remember who put this out. I don't have the packaging, obviously. They were just in a container in my craft room, so I thought, well, I'm going to challenge myself to use these in a layout. So I went through all the letters that I had, and I actually could make 4 words out of the letters. Now I didn't want to use the green or the lighter, like lemony green, because the photos I'm using are pink and blue. My husband and my daughter are doing zany, loopy, crazy faces. And I thought, well, let's see what I can make. And I actually made these 4 words. And I thought, that is perfect. They're all pink and blue. It's not going to worry me that I have 2 blues together and the rest of it's pink. And there's only 2 blue in this one. I had no blues in any of those letters. So I went, well, actually I do. I have a C here. I could change that to crazy. So let's bring a little bit more blue in. And I've just stuck these on here with temporary adhesive, the dot roller. I don't know if there's any others. What else have I got in blues? X, H, W, I, B. What's that, a B? I've got an O there. So I could replace one of the O's in loopy with a blue one. There we go. So I'm going to use these on my page, and I'm sure everyone has some acrylic from way back when. And even if you have the newer stuff, get it out and use it. So that is my starting off point for this layout. And then I thought, well, what embellishments do you put with photos like this? And I was actually really stumped. I thought, what am I going to do? So I went looking on Pinterest, and I found this layout, or this completed page on Pinterest, and I went, well, that's really cool. It's just frames behind the photos with the odd embellishments. So there's flowers, there's butterflies, there's word elements, and these are perfect places to put my 4 acrylic words. So I went, well, this is really going to work. I like this layout. Right, so next step, I needed to pick my papers. So obviously pink and blue is what I was looking for. So this is my base. I know it's going to be on white. I'll just pop that underneath. So I was going through my pink papers, and I sort of wanted to match my color of my daughter's pink, but I wasn't really successful in that. So I got this one out, or these 2 out, Bittersweet by Basic Grey. They are single-sided. And then I looked at the layout and went, well, really, they're not going to be next to the photos much. There's like a strip either side, and then that is incorporated into the frames. So that will work. It doesn't have to be the exact pink to still work on the layout. So I think I'm going to use possibly the hearts down the side with a strip of blue, thin strip of blue like they have here. And then I can use the rest to make frames. And then I thought, well, I needed to incorporate some blue. So I went stash diving in my blue papers, and I picked out several that may work. And I wanted to try and match my husband's jumper that he's got on. So this one from Little Yellow Bicycle is an excellent match. So that definitely, I will be making frames out of that. The other side, not so much. It's grungy, it's definitely not the vibe I'm going for. I don't want to introduce red, so that's a no. But this blue is a yes. And then I thought, well, maybe I could introduce some more blue. I found this one from, again, Basic Grey. This one I got really cheap when a store was having a sale, and they had these for like 20 cents a sheet or something. And I went, well, even if I don't like the design and can't use the design, I can still use it, turn it over, and I can still use it as a base page, like build my layout on this. So nothing wrong with doing that. And I thought, well, I could incorporate that blue if I want a little bit of a different blue as well. And then I found this one, which is an ombre. And I went, well, I possibly could use that, but I don't know. I'm on the fence. I've got it as a spare if I need it. But on the other side, this is from Eco Park paper. On the other side is this really nice geometric blue into grey ombre diamond paper. And I thought, well, if I don't want just all plains, because the only pattern I'm going to have for my frames is the love hearts, all the others I've got are plain. So I thought, well, maybe I want to introduce a little bit more pattern. So I've chosen this one as well. We will see what happens. Right, and then I thought, well, that's great. I've got my frames. What are my next embellishments I'm going to use? So again, I took inspiration from this page. Flowers, butterflies. Perfect. So I dug out a new Stamp Set and dies called Sketched Butterflies, and I haven't used this yet. I've only just got it last week. And then went, well, hang on. In my last video where I talked about different ways to use scraps, I cut out a heap of these butterflies as an example of what you can do with your scraps. So went to my plastic tub where I keep my die cuts. These are just the ones that I have spare after I've done a layout, and I sort of don't want to put them in with my tubs of my extra colored embellishments that I have. So I keep them in here for a while, and then if I don't use them after a little bit, then I'll put them in the boxes. So I remembered these blue ones that I had cut out, these butterflies, and you know what? They're blue. They will work on this page. How cool is that? So I'm going to pull these out. Oh, what a bonus that is. I didn't plan this page around those embellishments that I had cut out of my scraps. And then, well, blue leaves. Bonus, I have blue leaves. I can use these. They will work because I'm going to put flowers on here. When you put flowers, you normally put leaves. So I have my blue leaves from my scraps. I have the squares as well that I cut out. I don't know if they're going to land on the page, but they are the same blue. They go with this blue paper. They go with the photos. So I'm going to keep them out as well. Now I wanted to add flowers as well to the layout. So I had pulled out these dies. Again, these are old. I don't know what they are. And I'm not sure if this is meant to be a sunflower, but I know it's a fancy die cut flower with, I'm thinking this is the base. So, okay, I could do them. I could cut out them in two different colors, and they could be my flower embellishments is what I thought. And there's a smaller one here as well, and there's also leaves that do the same. So I went, all right, well, there's my flowers sorted. And then, oh, or maybe I could save some time here and go through my die cut bin and find some flowers I haven't used before. And what was sitting right on top under my blue butterflies were all these pink flowers from different layouts. And these are all left over from layouts that I've done in the past. So I think I am going to just pull all these out and use these as the flowers on my layout. So I'm just going to grab all these out. There's lots of them, and there's other colors in here as well. If I find that it's too pink and blue and I want to bring some different colors in, then I have a couple of yellow ones here as well. I also have green leaves that I can pop in if I think just the all blue and pink is too much. I've got a vellum leaf here as well, so I'm going to just pull out all these pink flowers. Another vellum leaf. Well, the yellow one wants to be on the page. It's jumping out of the container. Right, what else do I have in here? Okay, I have a square. May come in handy. I'll just leave it out. You never know. So I do have other leaves in here I can use as well. So that's handy to know. There's another pink flower and another pink flower I can see poking out under there. I have a doily that I've die cut. It's sort of cream. I don't know I'm going to bring it in, but I will remember that it's there. A pink tulip, but it's the only tulip I have, so I won't pull that out. Here's some more big pink ones. A different pink, so they're not all going to be the same. So how cool is this? I actually don't need to die cut or stamp any of the flowers because I have enough, pretty sure I have enough here to make the layout. So let me just check. No, there's yellow ones in there that I'll remember are in there, hopefully. Right, love hearts, not sure, but I'll leave them on top in case I decide I want to use them. Okay, so my next step is going to be to, oh my gosh, try and close this container for a start. There we go. Okay, so my next step is going to be create my frames. So I'll just move all this aside and come back and we will make some of the frames to go behind my photos. Okay, so now it's time to cut out our frames. I'm going to use the, Stylish Shapes dies, and I've just picked out the two largest squares. So you don't have to have these dies, any square dies will do. If you don't have dies, you can just cut these frames out using your trimmer. So I'm going to cut the strips of paper to just bigger than the biggest rectangle. So probably it's a little bit too close for comfort. We'll do 3 1/4. Okay. So you're going to, now washi tape will be helpful, sorry, will be really helpful with this. And I am going to washi them separately because if I put them together, one is bound to move and then I'm going to think they're straight and I'm going to end up with a wonky frame. Right, so I'm just putting the first one, the largest one down, then I evenly space this one so it's even top, bottom and the sides. Hold your breath that it doesn't move and then tape it in place. Now I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. Alright, you don't need to see my dirty plates, so let me get this off there. Alright, and there we have our first frame. And you know me with being economical. Oh my gosh, I can't get this off. Alright, let me get a pokey tool or something. There we go. Now don't throw that middle square away. You can use that to cut die cuts, to do all sorts of things. Great embellishment cluster base, great journaling spot. Just put out another white piece on front, leave a little border, and there's a great journaling spot. So anyway, there's our frame. Now I could do the same thing with the different sizes and end up with a varying array of sizes for my frames, but I think I want them all to be the same. I don't think I want it to go any smaller. So I'm now going to cut all my frames and I'll be back. Right, so I've cut up all my frames and they look really, really cool. I love them. A tip though, if your paper is directional, the only one of mine that was directional was this one. And with the others, it didn't worry me, if the frames were a little bit crooked, till I came to this one and went, well, I think I need to actually try and get it straight. So it's really, really important that you take note if you have directional paper to get them straight, and also watch if they move. So the way I had them washi taped on the paper, I sort of kept them together and just kept going down, down, down the sheet until I finished, and then put the next one in. And one of these I noticed, I can't remember which one it was, one of the sides was a little bit skinnier. I think it's this one. I noticed that this side is a little bit skinnier than this one. So I went, okay, they have moved. So then I had to re-washi just to make sure they all ended up the same. But no one's going to notice if they're a little bit different anyway. So no big drama. But I love them. And I also had a happy accident. I cut out the first three and then went, oh, I can't get a fourth one there. Was about to toss this in the bin and went, hang on a minute, I could use this as an element on a page. How cool would that be? I also, happy accident, I managed to space them evenly down the strip of paper, and now I have this beautiful frame that I can put on a page, put 3 small photos in there, or 2 photos and a title, or embellishments and a title down here, and that could be a great element on a page. So I'm keeping that definitely. The pink one, I put them a little bit closer. No, I think they look the same actually, around the same. But I must have put them a little bit closer because I could fit a fourth one down the bottom. And even though this is a little bit skinnier, and the bottom is a bit skinnier, I can also use this and can mask this, how this is skinny, and this how it's skinny, with embellishments or a photo or something like that. So I now have 2 frames to use on other layouts. Now the others I could have done the same with, but I thought, well, once I've used an element, like, you know, I'm probably not going to use it again for a long time, and they are quite fragile because it is only paper. So I thought if I try and put them in my embellishment boxes, they're going to get twisted and torn and they're going to be ruined, so no bother keeping any more. And now I know how to do them, then I can make more in the future. Right, so now I'm about to start the layout, and you may be wondering, what on earth am I doing with my scoring board here? I recently picked up this really cool tip. Now on the layout that I'm scrap lifting, the pattern paper goes right across to the sides, and this is a little bit directional, so I have to make sure my hearts, I think, are going in the right direction, which I think they're upside down now. Hang on, that way. Alright, so the tip I learnt, the lady was using a score pal, and which has another side to it here. This is the Stampin' Up version, and it's only got 2 sides, but can still use it the same. And I have a real problem doing this. I have a problem lining up my paper along the sides to make sure it is straight and not crooked and not going off. And it happens when you get older, your eyes are not as great. So her tip was to put your base right up to the top corner, and this only works if your strip of paper or your patterned paper is going right up to the edge and not leaving a small gap. Okay, so you make sure that's right, top left. You simply pop your paper down there and it is going to line up with the side of your scoring plate, and perfectly aligned and in place paper. How cool is that? So now I'm going to do it for this side. So I love getting tips from other people and sharing them. Now I did get this tip from Janice Gilhooly. She is a ex-Close to My Heart maker in Melbourne, Australia, and has now joined Stampin' Up. And I've sort of been binge watching some of those girls from Close to My Heart because they have some brilliant ideas. So I picked this tip up from her and it's brilliant. So now I want to share it with everyone because it's awesome. Right, let me just get this out of the way now. So that was so much easier than trying to put it on, pull it up and try and get it right. Now, unfortunately there's no easy way to do these unless you know of one. So I will just probably cut this out. And this one cut crooked by the look of it, so I think Fingers crossed I can make it look like it is even. No way around that. But anyway, no one's going to notice. But now you all know. Anyway, and I hope my head wasn't in the way. Okay, so now we can work on our photo placement and all our frames. So this layer is not actually going to have a heading. I'm going to let my acrylic words be the heading, subheadings, whatever. Right, so I'm going to place the photos. Now I have 3. This layout had 4 smaller ones. And I think I want the top one, I know it's bigger and it probably weight-wise should be down the bottom, but I want it to tell the story of how this disintegrated into chaos, this simply taking a photo, turned into complete and utter chaos. So I'm going to put that at the top, possibly these 2 down here, and then my words are going to come off with embellishments. So now I need the frames. Right, I'll try not to put a pink frame because I have double matted the photos, white and then this pink as my second mat. So I'm simply going to pop some frames behind. Might do the love heart one. Now I want frames here and frames here, and I've cut way too many, I know that, but it's okay, it will work out because I can put these in my colour boxes and use them on something else. And I think I want another one of these under there. Love hearts going the right way, hopefully. Okay, so we have our frames in. And I'm just wondering, that one looks a little bit out of place now, because I don't need as many as I thought I did. So what if I move this pale blue one there? And then use another darker blue one down the bottom. And I have lots of frames left for something else. Okay, so something like that. Alright, and I have 4 words. I'm sorry if my head keeps getting in the way. That I can put on top of each of those. So I can put one there, one here, one there, and one here. One there. Oh, I've got 4. I could put one here. I'm thinking I might put frames here as well. Is that too many? Maybe. Let's put embellishments on first. Right, so I know I want to use these butterflies. Or would they look better over here? I think they look better over there. And I need to have maybe down here. I don't want them to get lost on that blue frame. Whoops, things are sticking to me. I must have glue on my fingers. Or do I want this up here? I could put that on the photo a little bit because there's a bit of a gap up here in this photo. And then use these scattered around. Oh my goodness. Now my flowers. I'm not sure if I want them or these. We'll see. Oh, so glue. Actually, I only have 2 of these, so let's put the bigger one down here and a smaller one up there. I'm trying not to have all the clusters the same, so we will see what we can come up with. Okay, and then of course I have my blue leaves. Now, let's put the words on. I want funny up the top. Just going to sit it up here for now. We'll probably bring it out so it's not getting lost on that blue frame. I just stuck these onto, did I say already? The dotty glue. Keep them on the cardboard so I wouldn't lose them. Because I already knocked them off my desk once, so like, I'm not gonna, didn't want to drop them again. Alright, let's move this across a little bit so we can see the blue on the letter. It's not getting lost in the blue jumper. Okay, I am really liking that. I don't think I want to add anything more to that. I think that is really pretty. So I'm going to stick all that down and I'll be back. Okay, so I have everything about glued down and I did it the easy way. I really like the placement where I had everything. So I started with the photos and I just sort of put my hand on them, lifted them up, put a little bit of glue underneath, and did that with all of them. But I did like one side. I did this side, this side, this side. Then I, as much as I could, lifted up the frames and did the same. Some moved quite a lot, so I just had to take them out and glue them and hopefully put them back in the same place. So now I'm just putting the letters down, or the words down, and I wasn't sure how to do it. So I thought if they go straight, I don't want to cover someone's face, or thought it would be really awkward. And then it hit me, why don't I just follow the contour of the photos? And that is so much easier. And then they won't be crooked, because with me, things are always crooked. So I'm just using glue dots for these. And they're really super simple to put on, and you can't see the glue dots underneath. I could have used liquid glue, but glue dots are working just fine. Alright, so one more to do, and then I will just pick out the finishing touches. So I have a few to select from. Alright, so that one's sitting a little bit funny because it's actually half on the frame, half not, but it is stuck. It won't be a problem. And I've realised I need to change these. I've got a little bit of window to pick these up before they stick completely, I'm hoping. Come on, up you come. No, it's going to be, okay, I'm not going to do that. Right, what I was going to do was lift them up and move these down because all the others are over the photo mats. So I've lined it up with the actual photo on these, or except for that one. So, okay, it'll work. Because those two I've lined up with the photo. This one I've lined up with the bottom, like the outer photo mat. And this one will be the same. So it looks like I did it intentionally. It's just a happy accident. Alright, I don't want it to go under that photo because the glue is only here and here on this photo. So, don't want my letters to get lost under the photo. Alright, so that is done. Now, I have possibly some sequins to use. I've got blue and pink and silver. They're very pale, but maybe the pale pink ones will work. I just want to put some in the middle of the flowers and then some scattered around. Or I have blue rhinestones here, which I don't know, maybe I could do both. I'll see what these look like. So it would be, there's a mixture of light and dark, so I could put like the middle size in the middle of the flowers because all the flowers are pink. I guess that'll work. Well, I'm doing it now, aren't I? So that's what's happening. And then I've got a mixture of the small ones. I'll just scatter around because sequins are not my jam. And yeah, gotta have a lot of patience, I think, to put them on. I like these ones from Stampin' Up because they're adhesive back. You don't have to fiddle around with glue and stuff. But I've committed to these other gems now. So this is what we're doing. I have more of the darker ones, so I will try and scatter the darker ones around as my cluster scatter, if that's even a word. It is now, a term, whatever. And then the lighter ones on the middle of the flowers. That doesn't want to come off me. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3 there. I need 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we are done. I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pull this one out to there, make it more prominent. Alright, you'll stay there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there we have it. If you have liked this, please like and subscribe. Hit that notify bell so you know when my next video is coming out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a scrap happy day, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye.